Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing out there in the world? My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the Voiceman Studios in Toronto, Canada. It is Thursday, July the 18th, 2024, 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is episode 271 of McRae Live. And we're going to be talking about the Halloween Portal. The Halloween Portal. What is it? What could it be? What's coming down the pipe from Trancas International Pictures? Should we be excited about it? Should we be apprehensive about it? Should we be cautious about it? Not a lot to go on, but at least enough to wet the whistle and talk about it. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And should be a good one. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it. We just get my everything all, making sure I have all my windows open. We're going to be taking a look at the Halloween Portal. Just want to make sure I have all the tabs open. That's what I'm looking for. The tabs. Yes, okay. Yeah, so hope you're all doing well. Hope your summer is going well. We're in the thick of summer right now. It's cooler here today, but we've had a couple of heat waves already here in Toronto where it's, cracked about 110 degrees Fahrenheit with the humidity. So it's not nearly that hot today, thank goodness. But yeah, the thick of the summer. Are you having a good time? Are you vacationing? Are you going somewhere that you're excited about? Are you going on a family vacation like the Griswolds? Or maybe it's a staycation. Maybe you're staying at home with the family in the pool. You know, maybe you don't have a pool. Maybe you have to travel to the beach, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you just don't give a crap about summer. I have no idea. Summer's not my favorite time of year, although I do like summer. There's things about every season I do like, and summer obviously is no exception. It's the summer, but fall and autumn is my favorite time of year, not because of Halloween. It has absolutely nothing to do with Halloween. Halloween could take place in April, and fall would be my favorite time of year. I've always loved fall, the cool, crisp air, that campfire smell that you smell, when you're walking in the neighborhood that's coming from the chimneys of the houses. You know what I mean? It's cool, cloudy days, jeans, hoodies. I just like the fall, the leaves changing. It's the fall. It's my favorite time of year. It's my father's favorite time of year as well. Halloween? Well, that's just a bonus. And I'm being serious. I mean, as much as I'm a Halloween guy, Halloween could be in April and I would still love the fall. It's the weather. It's the weather that I love. It's moody and atmospheric. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 271 of McRae Live. My name is Dave McRae, and I want to talk about the Halloween Portal today. Have you guys heard about this? Some of you have. Some of you have not. But let's talk about the Halloween Portal. So what exactly is the Halloween Portal? Well, let's jump right into it. So let me go over to the other screen here. This came to us, I believe, this was posted on the 8th or the 8th of July or something like that. Not too long ago. Official Halloween Movies Instagram page. This is what it says. It says, official Halloween movies. Even in all of this heat, there's a familiar chill in the air. We're just a few short months away from spooky season, and now's your chance to get in early on the fun. The Halloween Portal will soon serve as the premier destination for fans and will feature breaking news, exclusive content, exclusive merchandise offers, discounts, and so much more that you will not find anywhere else. To everyone who's registered thus far, thank you. If you haven't or are undecided, it will very much be worth your while. Just click the link below or in the bio and enter your email. This will help you stay ahead of Michael. At least a few steps. We all know what happens if you let him catch up. And then it says there, once you enter your email address, you'll receive a welcome message with instructions on how to properly register for the Halloween portal. If you haven't received the email yet, please check your junk folder. If it's not there, please try again. We want to ensure that you don't miss a single thing. Get ready for the shape of things to come. So I went over to the website, and this is what you see when you go over to it. This is what you see right here. And I did indeed sign up. I signed up. I'm ready. I want to be in on the know. I want to know what's going on, what's happening with the Halloween portal. However, let me first say this. And I say this as constructive criticism. It's already grown on me in the week and a bit that it's been there. But when I first came across this homepage, my first thought was, I understand the design. Like, I get that it's supposed to look like a portal. Like, I get that. It totally does. I mean, that is effectively communicated when you see the word portal and then you see the, coming out from the logo. Yeah, I get it. It effectively communicates that. But is it just me, or does this look like some cheap HTML website from 2001? Or no, even like the late 90s. It just has that vibe. It doesn't scream like where the Halloween franchise is today, despite what you may think of the David Gordon Green trilogy, despite what you may think of Halloween Ends, despite how angry you might be. All three of those movies together made $500 million at the worldwide box office. The Halloween franchise, the three films were incredibly profitable. And it sort of ignited the Halloween fan base again. Not everybody loved all three movies, but certainly we can all agree that the music's the best it's ever been since, the original few films, the first few films. The mask is the best it's ever been since the original movie. That first movie, 18, was probably the best sequel we've had probably in years. There are some good things. This just looks cheap. This looks cheap. It looks like GeoCities, like, Yahoo create, like, and I say that with all due respect. It doesn't look professional. It doesn't look polished and do you know what I mean? Like it looks kind of cheesy. I maybe it's the color scheme. Maybe if it was black, maybe that would help. I don't know, but I just look at this. And, in here, you got the whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, fine. And then in here, you got the it just feels more, it feels more science fiction than it does slasher. And I get, like, I get I get what you're doing. Like, it makes sense. The Halloween portal, it's like, ooh, this is the Halloween portal. But it just feels cheap. I don't know. It needs to be, I don't know, maybe just a black screen, and just stylized, like really sort of, not even stylized, just kind of nice, bold, the Halloween portal. Maybe just in white, not even in the orange, red kind of stuff, just in white, the Halloween portal, enter if you dare. Or click, or so it's like, ooh, this is kind of creepy. Or maybe there's like, the black screen, maybe there's bits of little kind of flashes of something. It's a black screen, but maybe there's like bits of like, nothing too crazy, nothing overdone. This kind of feels like a website you would see in the late 90s or the early 2000s. That's what this looks like. This doesn't look like this doesn't scream to me that this is the premier. Now, again, maybe this is just a template. Maybe they just wanted to get something up, get the SEO out there, get the, the domain name out there. Maybe they're in the middle of working something. Maybe they are. But this to me doesn't scream the premier destination for all things Halloween, one of the greatest slasher franchises in the history of cinema. This doesn't scream that to me. And I'm not saying it needs to be more than that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying, ironically, maybe it needs to be less. Maybe it's too... It's just, I don't know. There's something about it that's not jiving with me. Anyway, that's how I kind of feel. I got to be honest. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just, hey, I'm a fan, I'm a customer, and I'm just letting you know that this doesn't quite scream the premier destination of one of the greatest slasher franchises in the history of cinema. One of the most successful, financially successful slasher franchises in the history of cinema. One of the most iconic villains in the history of cinema. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the premier destination homepage. It just doesn't quite do it for me. And that's just me. That's just me. But that at the end of the day does not mean that the content within that will not be absolutely and unequivocally fantastic. We have no idea. But I just got to be honest. That's kind of how I feel about it. Now, when we go to the next page, when you do enter, you come to this page here, which says your home base for everything Halloween, your home base for everything Halloween. And when we scroll, and that's where you're supposed to enter your email address. I've already done that. I will go over and show you what happens when you do that. And then we scroll down here. Again, it's this logo. The logo looks... I truly believe there are better logos out there for the Halloween portal. I don't mean out there now that currently exists, but I mean out there in the imagination of the designers. I truly believe there is a better logo that can exist. Not that this is a bad logo. I just don't think it's the right logo. I don't think it's the right logo. And then when you look at some of the artwork that's flipping by here, it's some of the artwork we've seen before. It's okay. There's nothing, I think there's a lot of wonderful independent unlicensed artwork out there that I think is better. But nonetheless, I think this is these are contributions from people that have done that. It says coming soon. Do you have what it takes? I did put my email address in there, and this is what popped up. I got the email, and this is what popped up. Now, the first thing I noticed here is this right here, this spelling mistake. Your home base for everything Halloween, but your is YOU''RE. Okay. I do not necessarily believe that the person who wrote this up does not know their yours from their yours and their theirs and their theirs and their thens and their thens and wheres and wers. And I'm not saying that they are incompetent in terms of they don't know how to grammatically, I think this is probably just an innocent typo because they do have the correct your here, right? YOU''RE, of course, is whenever you want to shorten something. It's only when you are using you are, right? You are, your, YOU''RE is short for you are. And so this is correct. You're almost in the Halloween portal. You are almost, that's correct. You are home base for everything Halloween. That is incorrect. That should be YOUR. And that's important, right? Spelling is important. When you are putting, it doesn't mean we don't all make, hey, listen, we make mistakes. It happens. It happens. But at the end of the day, this has been out there now for a couple of weeks. If anybody from Trancas is watching, if anybody from the Halloween movies.com is watching, Malik, if he's watching, he's not watching. But if he is, he's not watching. But if anybody is who's in the know of this, get that fixed immediately. It's a small thing, but again, It's a thing that if you are the premier destination for everything Halloween and you want to be professional, and this is the premier, this is how you're advertising yourself, the premier destination, which simply means the go-to. There is nowhere else. This is where you're going to get exclusive merchandise, exclusive content, exclusive news before anybody else. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. You need to fix that right at the top here. You need to fix that. It's a simple fix. If I had access to their website, I would do it immediately right now myself, but obviously I don't. Just change that to Y-O-U-R instead of Y-O-U-R-E. You got to change that. But nonetheless, this is what pops up. You're almost in the Halloween portal. Now, this artwork I actually quite like. I dig that. That's pretty cool. I like, that's good. I like that. And then, of course, it says here, join, it says, there we go. Join the Halloween portal to secure your screen name, receive exclusive offers on merch, and stay connected with all things Myers. You'll get VIP access to news, message boards, merch, and more. Designed just for the biggest fans. Get early access, register. Now, I think that's probably going to be, entice a lot of people. Message boards. That's probably going to entice a lot of people. People want to hang out on the Halloween portal and talk Halloween, although I don't know how much message boards will be. It's funny, when I think of where we are today when it comes to the internet, and I think that goes back to the design of this whole thing. Like when we go back, let me just go back here. Message boards, it's not that message boards are not a thing nowadays, but message boards, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I'm not really dialed into message boards. I used to be way back in the day when there was, way back, like back in the day when it looks like this logo was created. Message boards, like today with Reddit and YouTube and YouTube comment sections, and is there a need or a desire for a message board? Is this where people are going to be all like it's their own version of Reddit, but on the Halloween portal? So everybody dives in and chats there. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It feels a little past its expiry date. I don't know if people really care about that now. Even the IMDb, message boards are gone. So I don't know. But nonetheless, so I registered, and this is what comes up when you register and you log in. You're in. Congrats, you've secured early access to the Halloween portal. We're working on getting the portal ready. In the meantime, check out Halloween merch dropping soon. Again, I gotta say, there's something about, now this is not available yet. And maybe there are Halloween fans out there that think this is awesome and great. And maybe it will look better in person. But because I'm not crazy on the logo, I'm not crazy on that logo on merchandise. So when I look at this, it doesn't. Now, again, I only speak for myself. And ladies and gentlemen, please know, I am not attacking. Like, it is very early. Fast forward 2 or 3 years from now, and the Halloween portal may be the premier destination, and we're all fucking going there, and it's this huge thing for Halloween fans, and it's amazing, and the merch is awesome, and it's got, who knows? I have no idea. This is just first impressions, right? First impressions, you only have one time to make a first impression. And when I look at this, I'm just like, it looks cheap. And it's not that the logo is a bad logo. I just don't think it's the right logo. And it looks, very GeoCities, late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing. I think, why not just have, I understand they want to have an identity, right? It's the Halloween portal. So they don't just want to have the Halloween logo on there, because the fist with the butcher knife and the pumpkin is the movie. That's the poster from the movie. So they want to distinguish that and have a different logo for the Halloween portal. I get it. And maybe it'll grow on me, and it's just a fucking logo at the end of the day. Really, at the end of the day, it's just a logo. And it's like saying that the trailer's not very good. Well, you know what? Okay, the trailers, we always hope that trailers are good, but we've seen bad trailers to great movies. We've seen great trailers to bad movies. At the end of the day, it's going to be all about the content within the Halloween portal. What is the content going to be? And if the content is fantastic, and maybe there's online games, and there's fucking like trivia, and there's message boards, and amazing merchandise that's not just this, okay? There's like the shit that you see on like Terra threads and gutter garbs and fright rags and like maybe they're going to have amazing merchandise with amazing artwork like you see on those sites, but it's exclusive to the Halloween portal. Or maybe they're working with fright rags and gutter garbs and terror threads to create officially licensed Halloween portal only merchandise through them. Maybe they're like working with them, or maybe they're working with Tots and Trick or Treat Studios. I have no doubt that they're probably going to sell like masks or something. It's a work in progress. I imagine they want to launch this thing probably this fall. So again, this is just very early. This isn't the only merchandise that is going to be on the website, but this is what you showcase to wet the whistle. And I look at this and I think, you know, some of you out there may find it really cool. Like, well, I think it's a really cool logo. You got Halloween across the top, portal on the bottom. You know, you got the mask or the the pumpkin in the middle, and you got like that, you know, the portal behind it. That's really cool, man. It's really cool. Hey, all power to you. And it's very subjective. I just, again, when I look at this, it just doesn't feel premier destination to me. It kind of feels like, I don't know, a fan website or another sort of merch store, or it doesn't feel like, with all the money that they have and all the access to resources, this doesn't, and that doesn't mean that you can't have a portal logo. It just, maybe it would look better without the, I don't know. It maybe it just feels like, maybe it feels like, you know, and it's little things like this, and I'm just shooting from the hip here, but maybe it's things like, maybe the fist with the knife and the pumpkin, maybe it needs to be blended more. Maybe it needs to be blended into the, into the portal more to make it feel like it's a part of it. This just looks like it's a transparent PNG that was just placed on top of, you know, some sort of animated, you know, spinning portal. It looks like there's not a lot. It just looks like that's what it looks like. Maybe it needs to become a part of it. Do you know what I mean? So the portal itself, the pumpkin and the knife and the fist is a part of the portal. So it's like, you know, it's electrified as well. The hand is electrified. The knife is electrified. The pumpkin and the eyes are electrified. Like, maybe that's all you need, right? Like, maybe get rid of the Doctor Who portal behind it and have the knife and the fist and the pumpkin electrified. So it's going like, not, you know, in a continuous state, but maybe it's, you know, it looks like there's, you know, maybe it looks like there's like some electricity that's like flowing through the logo. This just looks like the logo was copy and pasted on top of the portal. And it doesn't. Yeah, there is a little bit of blending. Like there's a highlight around it, around there's a highlight around it. There is a highlight around it. But I think like instead of seeing the electricity here right along the edge, which is cool, we should see it coming up here on this edge of the knife as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, get rid of all this in here and just have the logo in the center with, like, you know, electricity or something. Maybe there's electricity around portal. There's like, you know, in here or something on a black background or something. There's just I just think there's more you can do with this to make it feel more polished and more professional looking, rather than this. This doesn't look pro. This doesn't look major Hollywood pro. kind of like one of the greatest, the premier destination for Michael Myers. It just doesn't, and of course, when we get into the portal and you see merch like this, because I'm not a big fan of the logo, I instantly am like, I'm not crazy on this. So it just feels, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. Or, maybe just get rid of the pumpkin. Get rid of the pumpkin, get rid of the fist and the knife, and just, I don't know, have Myers mask. There's another thing you do. Have the Myers mask in the circle and it's electrified. Maybe the Myers mask is electrified. It's a black screen. The Myers mask is electrified. Imagine that. Imagine this right here, folks. Okay, so you have this, right? Okay, all right, that's what it is for now. Okay, cool, fine. Okay, now imagine a black screen, and in the center of the screen is the Myers mask. But I mean a fucking wicked-ass looking Myers mask. Like, it looks like the OG from 1978. It's amazing. Maybe some split lighting, right? And the mask itself, you can see every few moments there's electricity running through the mask. Ooh. Oh, that will effectively communicate the electricity vibe, with the word portal. Because when anybody hears the word portal, right, we immediately think of this kind of thing. I understand why they chose this imagery. We immediately think of this kind of thing. Portal, right? Doctor Who, He-Man, Marvel. I mean, we always think of, we think of this shit. But you don't need to show this to communicate that through imagery. You can just show a bit of electricity, maybe, moving through the mask. Oh, that's interesting. Black screen, and underneath, maybe in just like, white text, the Halloween portal. It's like, ooh, or, it's got some really nice stylized nature, just something. And it's just like, and it looks so polished and like, fuck, what is this going to be? This looks just a little dated. It looks dated. That's what it is. It just looks dated to me. But again, at the end of the day, that doesn't mean the content within it is not going to be fantastic. But this makes me think, looking at this, and because of the dated nature of it, and using message boards as a, and folks, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but our message board, not that message boards don't exist, they do. I know they do. And maybe I'm just out of the loop. Maybe I'm just, too old. I don't know. But are message boards really a thing today? And I guess I'm appealing to the younger crowd, or maybe the gamers and the Twitch people and all them. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe a Halloween message board would be exciting for fans. But I can't help but think that with YouTube and Reddit and online and Instagram and Facebook and how else people comment and communicate with each other, are message boards really going to be an attractive thing? It feels dated to me. It feels like something you would say to somebody in the early 2000s to get them excited about a website. And there's message boards, and do you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it feels like to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm out to lunch on this. I'm not really sure. Not really sure. Hey, Mikey says 27 minutes in and still no confirmation if this is legit. What are you talking about? Of course it's legit. Why would I be talking about it if it's not legit? It's coming from Trancas International. This isn't a rumor, my man. This is real. This has come down from Trancas and HalloweenMovies.com. This is legit. This is legit. Why would I spend half an hour talking about... This is somebody who doesn't tune into me very often. No, this is legit. This is legit. This is not a rumor. This is legit. Just because you haven't heard about it doesn't mean it's not real. This is legit. I don't come on here and talk about this kind of stuff I would not spend 30 minutes talking about a website that there was no confirmation on. Trust me. So yes, this is legit. 100%. 100%. This is legit. This has already been revealed on the official Halloween Movies Instagram page. You must have tuned in late. Official Halloween Movies Instagram page. There it is right there. There it is right there. That's what I started with today. So you must have tuned in a bit late. Yes, this is legit. So So there you have it. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not crazy on the design. I'm not crazy on the. I'm not crazy on the design. I'm not crazy on the logo design. I'm not crazy on this logo on merch. Even the hat looks kind of cheap, you know, but again, I will give them the benefit of the doubt and say that, hey, it's early, but this is not something that I would have launched with. I would have launched maybe with just an announcement that there's something coming. But unless they're really happy with this, I mean, unless Malik is just like, this looks great. Well, Malik, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't look great. It doesn't. It's not awful, as in absolutely unequivocally atrocious, but it's not what Halloween needs. It's not. It can be better. It can be better. It can look more professional. It looks dated and out of touch from a design perspective. It looks dated and out of touch from a design perspective. Now, that is my opinion, and I know that there are people that share my opinion. But please understand that it. I mean, you know, if this is what they want to roll with, okay. But I think a better logo would be the Michael Myers mask with every so often, not a continuous stream of electricity, but every so often you see bits of electricity move through the mask. And that's the logo on the screen. And you know, it's black. Or maybe it's a picture of the Myers house, right? What about a picture of the Myers house? You know, the backdrop of the Myers house, that's your main page. You go here, it's a picture of the Myers house, and Michael Myers is standing on the front porch or something, right? And maybe they'll have all that. But make it like that. Make it like that. Like, you know, it's the Myers house. Maybe you have to click on his mask to enter, you know, or something like that. Like that kind of thing's a little dated too. But from a design perspective, it might look a little better and a little more polished than this. So yeah, it's legit, folks. It's 100% legit. Whether they change the design or not, I don't know. But again, this news came down from the official Halloween Movies Instagram page. This is their official page. They released this, and you know, I have yet to actually dive into the comments. I didn't look at the comments on this. I have not looked to see what others have thought about this because I did not want my views and my thoughts to be influenced by what others have thought. But I'm just not again, it's not like it's, I mean, I've seen worse. It just looks dated. If it was the year 2001 right now, or 2002, or 1999, and this was what we saw, oh, we'd be jazzed. I'd be jacked. Like, I'd be jacked. I'd be jacked. Ugh. I'd be jazzed. I'd be like, oh, this is really cool. Because the design element fits in with the design elements of that era and of that time. Do you know what I mean? Like, other websites kind of had that vibe with the font and the color scheme and the, you know, and the, you know, Flash, you know, websites and things like that. It would make sense. But today it just feels dated. It feels dated and not what you want or expect from one of the greatest, most influential, most successful horror franchises in the history of cinema. And you're telling me that this is the homepage, at least right now, this is the homepage to the premier destination in 2024 to that franchise. I just don't see it. It doesn't get me excited. So that's what I have to say on that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the Halloween portal. Just go to, I believe it is, just go to halloweenportal.com, and that is where it is, and that's where you can find it. I've already signed up because I want to be in the know. I want to find out what's going on, so I put my email address in, and I created a username and a password, and so I'm ready, I'm locked, I'm dialed in. And again, maybe the content within it will be great. Maybe this is just a bad trailer. It's just not a good trailer, right? Because when you launch something, a website, a logo, something that that its purpose is to get people excited, right? So HalloweenPortal.com is not ready yet. The domain's there. They have a homepage. They've asked people to sign up. They have some preliminary things there, but for all intents and purposes, it's not ready yet. It's not going to be ready probably till the fall, right? That's what I would assume. That's kind of what I think is happening. Well, like a trailer's job is to get you more excited about the movie that's about to come out. And so if we look at it from a trailer perspective, it didn't do that for me. If this is the trailer, I'm just like, well, this is kind of a teaser. It's a teaser, I guess. I'm like, You know what I mean? So there's still time to change it. I don't know if they're going to change it. They're not going to watch. I mean, listen, if Malik is happy with it and he's fine with it, then fine. I mean, they're not going to, care what I think at the end of the day. But from a longtime fan, in 2024, that can be better. That can be way better, look more professional, and get me way more excited than that homepage did. I say that with all due respect to the designer who designed it. This is not personal. I don't know them. They may have designed other things that are fucking amazing. Maybe they were guided to design it this way, right? Like maybe they wanted to do other things, but there's so much information I don't know. So this is not an attack on the web designer at all. This is just me looking at that and going, oh, at face value, this just looks dated. It just looks dated. I think there's a better design for this out there. I think we can do better. We can do better. In 2024, we can do better. If this was 2001, I wouldn't have anything to say because it fits right in with all the other designs of the websites of that time period. But this looks like it's a website from 25 years ago. And even when you log in and you go in and you kind of see it, it looks cheap. It looks cheap. But it's still early. So I reserve full judgment, for when the movie comes out. Full judgment for when the movie comes out. Anyway, let's jump over to the chat room and see what all you are saying. Now, I don't believe any super chats came in, right? I haven't missed any. I just want to make sure I haven't missed any. I don't believe I have. Let's jump over and see what all of you are saying and what you think about it now. Let's see. We've got, let me go back here. Let me scroll back and just see what some people are saying. I want to see here. Let me see here. Darren says, I think Brackett made the page on the internet in Canada. Yeah. The internet in Toronto? No, the internet everywhere. The internet everywhere, Chuck. Oh, okay. Well, now I don't want to do it. He was grumpy. Can we get pager alerts, says Darren from the Slaughter Lab. Yeah. Yes, if you sign up, you'll get some notifications on your pager, as well as your BlackBerry. So it's great. It's absolutely great. Absolutely great. Let me see here. Matthew Farisi says, logo reminds me of high school PowerPoint project. Yeah. It's just dated. It's just, it feels out of touch. It feels out of touch. And when you've just come from the David Gordon Green trilogy, right? I mean, again, despite what you think of the movies, and although each movie made less than the previous film, together they still made $500 million at the worldwide box office. All three movies were incredibly financially successful. And so this feels out of touch. It feels out of touch. It does. It feels like something they would have launched many, many, many moons ago. And I just think it needs to be better. Andrew Rollison says, Dave will be wearing that cap in the near future. He's a hat guy. I'm not wearing that hat. Ain't no way I'm buying that one. I'll tell you that. Not with that logo on it. But I am a hat guy. You are correct. Tyler Adams says, the person that made that is not a motion graphics artist. No way. They may not be. Again, this is not an attack on the artist at all, right? It's not personal. I don't know who they are. But when you put something out there, Halloween movies, Trancas, Malik, it was given the green light to go to get people excited. This doesn't get me excited. I think the idea is interesting. it sounds like they want to create a destination to probably also, mitigate a lot of the other unofficial stuff that's out there. So they probably they probably want to try and get their hands on that. So like in principle, I like the idea. I think the idea is cool to have, a website where, and the name Halloween Portal, okay. Like it doesn't, I think I didn't really talk about the name. I think the name is the least of its issues, because I do think you can call it Halloween Portal, Halloween Portal, and still have the design really, really cool. This just looks too much like, this looks like a blend of two different genres. And I think that's kind of also part of my problem. You know what I mean? It looks very Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And that would be okay if you had Halloween 3 Season of the Witch logo in the center there, and that was the only movie. But it just doesn't feel right. So it's just, I think it can be better. I think it can be better. I don't think it can be better. I know it can be better. Ernie says, it's giving 1999 Hot Topic, and not in a good way. Oh, there you go. There you go. And it's good. It's good. Again, we can give constructive criticism to the page without, personal attacks, right? We can just kind of say, hey guys, this is really cool. Trankus wants to do something really cool for us Halloween fans. That's awesome. And at the end of the day, if as I've said, at the end of the day, if the content within the site is mind-blowingly amazing, well then, and that ends up being the logo, okay, who cares? But all we as Halloween fans have to go on is just this. And even when you go inside, the merch isn't, I understand they don't have merch yet, so they plop that logo. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. Darren says, if the 78 Halloween logo wasn't there, you wouldn't know it was for the Halloween movies. They need to be subtler and smarter. I agree. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's why I think, you don't need that logo there. Just like, if you want the logo, then it needs to blend in. If you want the logo and you want the portal, then you need to just blend it better. Because right now, it just looks like a PNG. At face value, it looks like a transparent PNG that was just plopped onto a moving portal thing that you downloaded from somewhere. You need to make it feel like the logo is coming from the portal. Like the electricity in the portal is creating the logo, right? So, if you want to stick with this, my recommendation would be the electricity in the portal is creating the logo. So the logo and the electricity look one and the same. And it looks fucking badass. Like, oh, that's really fucking cool. You know what I mean? Or, like I said earlier, get rid of the logo and have the Michael Myers mask there, a black screen, a black homepage. The 78 mask split lighting is just there on the page. It fades in, and you see bits of electricity kind of going through the mask. Not in any sort of continuous way, like I said, because it would be too much, to Darren's point, it would be too much, too overbearing. But every few seconds or every few moments, maybe every 5 seconds or so, you see bits of electricity shoot through the mask. Like, ooh, and it says the Halloween Portal. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Like that, even though that, there's probably better things, that would be better than this. And I don't think it would look as dated. Do you know what I mean? It just looks old. Looks old. The design just looks old. Wayne says the logo doesn't look too bad. Just don't agree with the color scheme. I disagree. I think the logo it looks dated to me. It looks cheap. It looks just dated. That's all. It's not a bad logo. I just don't think it's the right logo because it looks dated. That's what it is. It just it's like, taking, take this here, right? The Blue Jays. If you, this is their modern, it's the same logo they've had since their inception in 1977 or whatever it was. But this is a more modern version of it. If you look at this logo from, say, 1980, it would look very different, but yet the same. It would look the same, but different. It would be like wearing that now. It just, there's nothing wrong with it, but it just looks old. It looks dated. It looks old. It's like looking at a Yankee logo from the 50s or something. It's nothing, it just looks old and it just looks dated. That's what this looks like. It just looks dated. Like, it's just old. It's just old. Like, it can be better. It can be more polished, finer, just more modern, more contemporary. It can just look more contemporary. This just looks old, and not at all what I think you want to launch with. Davey, that's good. Davey Deathray says, the only question I have is, where's the view counter? Oh, very nicely done. Very nicely done. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, that's almost what you expect to see is a view. That's so if anybody from Trancas, if anybody from HalloweenMovies.com, if anybody who is in any position to have any sort of influence who's watching or sees this, take it as constructive criticism. That I don't think it's awful in terms of, like the design's awful or something, like it was made by, a 4-year-old. I don't mean it in that sense. I just think it's dated. And I think a lot of fans are feeling that way. That's the sense that I'm getting from the chat room here today. But yet I've yet to look at the comments elsewhere. But the pulse, the vibe I get is that, this can be better. This can be better. This can be a lot better. And I think it should be a lot better. Okay, I know Super Chat came in. Let me get this Super Chat from, where is it here? Josh McKenna sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh. Says, 1 of 2, are you good at reading body language? Like, are you good at figuring out if someone is full of bullshit? And if so, have you called them out on it? And the second one is 2, have you seen the show Cobra Kai? I have seen the show Cobra Kai. I like Cobra Kai. I'm looking forward to the sixth and final season that's going to be spread out over like 900 years, which I think is crazy. But anyway, I would say that I'm pretty good. Yeah, I am. I have a good bullshit detector because I'm an actor. And so unless you are, like, there are many videos that will come out. Now, there are some that are awful and that are obvious, right? But even the ones that come out that are really good, that are fooling a lot of people, 9 times out of 10, I can tell it's a skit. I can tell it's a joke. I can tell it's not real. And it's usually because of the nuances of the performance or things that the average person is not looking for that don't quite make sense to me. And I've had debates with people where a video will come out, look, dude, this is so real. Look at this person doing this. I'm like, nah, it's fake. And they're like, no, it's real, bro. It's real, bro. It's real, bro. You're just a hater. You're just a hater. I'm like, no, it's fake. I can tell because of this and this. And if you look at this here, it doesn't make any sense why the camera would be there and all that kind of stuff. And then sure enough, like, a few months later it comes out that it's bullshit and it was just a whole, thing. So I'm pretty good at that sense. It's difficult to put one over on me because I play make-believe for a living. So it can be difficult to fool somebody. Not that I can't be fooled at all. I'm just saying that, I have a pretty good bullshit detector. Yeah, but it depends, right? Depends. Some people are really good at bullshitting. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate that. Graphic Design 101 by Dave McRae. Yes, I should start doing that. Amber H says the graphic on the website could have been a pumpkin being cut open like the credits of the film, and the Myers mask on the merchandise, a black background, and a cut up pumpkin would have been better. And maybe they will do that. Like, it's entirely possible they will do that, Amber. I think and I agree with you, by the way. But I think it's important that, we remember that, again, this is just, nothing's been launched yet. This is a work in progress in terms of all the content that's going to be in it. This is a work in progress. And so who knows at the end of the day what they're going to have in there. But this is definitely not, this is not what I think it needs to be. Not at all. Not at all. Eddie Chase, hey, what's going on, Eddie? Sends in $5. Says, fair to say that Halloween is Carpenter's most famous, renowned work, but The Thing is his best. I agree with Cody Leach in that aspect. I think there's a good argument to be made there. Yeah, for sure. I still like Halloween over The Thing. I like The Thing, but it's not. But I like The Fog over The Thing. I would say that for me, when it comes to Carpenter, The Thing is definitely top 5, but it's not top 2. For me, Halloween and The Fog are Carpenter's best, and then maybe followed by The Thing. Yeah. I think there's a good argument to be made there, for sure. But I think The Thing is probably his most mature piece. It was a studio film. It was taking him to the next level. I think it feels bigger. It feels bolder and bigger. And it probably in that sense, it feels his most, professional and studio-like. Carpenter did a few studio pictures, but just didn't like working at the studio level. And I think it's primarily because he's a hard ass and doesn't like to be told what to do. I get it. I totally understand it. But I think there's a lot of resentment for a lot of his movies, and there's two sides to every story as well. But when you watch and I say this with all due respect to John Carpenter, but John Carpenter's career mostly is in the B horror movie territory. I mean, They Live, In the Mouth of Madness, Vampires, Ghosts of Mars, Halloween, The Fog, Prince of Darkness. I mean, they're all B horror movies, Village of the Damned, The Ward. I mean, he's not, he didn't. And then you look at Big Trouble in Little China, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and The Thing, even Escape from New York, kind of, B movie. He never really, part of it I think was deliberate, for sure. But when you watch a Carpenter movie, there's a B movie, low budget feel to all his movies, really. And that's not a knock. They're still professional indie films. I'm just saying there's a vibe to it. And it could also be because it's also the 80s too. So there's a very 80s vibe to a lot of his movies. But I think The Thing feels the biggest, the boldest, higher budget. Like, it feels bigger, right? It feels like a big movie. And I think because Carpenter didn't do a lot of those movies, those kinds of movies in his career, I think that's why it also stands out too, is because it feels more polished than, say, a lot of his other films. But yeah, there's certainly an argument to be made there, for sure. For sure. Frank Riker says, Dave told me secretly that Memoirs of the Invisible Man is his favorite. I love Chevy Chase, but that's a movie I have not seen in quite a while. I've not seen that movie in quite a while. I gotta check that movie out again. I haven't seen it in quite a while. Thomas Cohn says, Halloween Ends really reminds me of The Acolyte, but The Acolyte makes way more sense. Well, I think Halloween Ends, I haven't seen The Acolyte. I think Halloween Ends makes, well, it depends what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it was the wrong choice, in my opinion, for a third act. It was just avant-garde. It was just changing it up for the sake of changing it up. It wasn't planned. Not at all. Because if it was planned, you would have introduced the Corey character at the very least in Halloween Kills. But you would have introduced him in Halloween 18. I mean, you would have probably opened Halloween 18 the way you opened Halloween Ends, because Halloween Ends opens on Halloween night 2018. So, if there was a through line the whole way through, that's what you would have done, but there wasn't one. So yeah. The Corey Cunningham story is fantastic. It's just in the wrong movie. Well, maybe fantastic's too strong of a way to say it, but I like it. I like the idea of the story. It's just in the wrong film. I've talked about that. Scared Straight Production says, Dave, whatever happened to Will Smith and Kevin Hart's remake of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. That is a very, very good question. I don't know. I can't remember. I remember hearing about that, though. Let me see here. Brandon Collins says, Halloween is my favorite film of all time, but I regard The Thing as his masterpiece. It's like Scorsese. Raging Bull is his masterpiece, but I can watch Goodfellas every day. Yeah. Bring back Frank Darabont, says Warren Armour. Frank Darabont, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, Netflix released a small sizzle reel of Stranger Things, season 5, behind the scenes just a few days ago. And I could have sworn I saw Frank Darabont on that set. I think Frank Darabont may be directing at least an episode or two of Stranger Things season 5. He's been doing a lot of television. He's done, The Walking Dead. He might be doing Stranger Things. Don't quote me on that. I could have sworn I saw him on set. It is strange to me that, but at the same time, I'm going to follow this up with why, perhaps. But Frank Darabont he's only made 4 feature films in his life. The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Majestic, and The Mist. Now, The Shawshank Redemption is regarded as one of the greatest motion pictures ever made. He made The Green Mile 5 years later, which, although not quite as revered as The Shawshank Redemption, an incredible movie. One of the greatest Stephen King adaptations of all time. It is a fantastic, very emotional film. Amazing film. Then he does The Majestic in 2001 with Jim Carrey. I saw it years ago. Not quite. That is considered maybe a bit of a misstep. And then he comes back in 2007 and does The Mist. And although the only thing I don't like about The Mist is some of the effects, even at that time in 2007, some of the worm effects, it looked a little dated. It just looked not quite where, But the movie is bloody brilliant, and the ending is fantastic. And Darabont even said, if I don't get to do this ending, because it's very different in the book, if I don't get to do this ending, I'm not doing the movie. And the studio was like, okay, fine, because it's Frank fucking Darabont. That's the last feature film he's directed. Now, since 2007, he's done a lot of television. Right? He's still directing. He's not sitting on his ass eating tacos. I mean, maybe he is. But he's still directing. He's still out there. But the guy who directed The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Mist, has not directed a feature film since 2007. He writes a lot. He co-writes. He's, a lot of TV. I don't know why that is. But I can assure you it cannot possibly be because he is not getting offers. Frank Darabont does not get offers. It has to be an intentional choice on his part. Either he just enjoys television more because he can come on for a few episodes and then he's done, right? Because you have to remember, the director in television is very different from the director on a feature film. On a feature film, the director is the man or the woman, but they are leading the set. It's their set. They command it. They're there from the beginning of fucking development to when that fucking movie releases. The director on a feature film, actors and crew will come on a feature film for a few months, but the director is there for what can be a few years. And so, but in television, the person really running that show in television is the showrunner, the executive producer, the big, the showrunner of the series. They are the one constant through every episode. Directors will come in, they'll sometimes bring, a director in to direct a few episodes. So let's say Frank, Darabont is directing a few episodes of Stranger Things. Has the chat room confirmed that for me? I'm not really sure. But let's say he is. I could have sworn I saw him in that sizzle reel, but let's say he is. Well, he will be heavily involved in the episodes that he's directing. So he will be heavily involved from the beginning, from the inception of that episode to the end of that episode, making sure he understands, how it connects to the other episodes and other directors. So there's a through line, there's connectivity, there's, everybody's on the same page. But then when he's done his 1 or 2 episodes, he's out, he's gone. He's done. He doesn't, it has nothing to, however the season plays out, that's not his thing. That's not his thing, he's done. It's the showrunner that takes care of that. It's their job. So I'm purely speculating here, but maybe he just likes that work environment better. He can come on, get heavily involved creatively, direct a few episodes, and then he's out. And he doesn't have to worry about the bigger picture of how it's all going to connect together, because that's the showrunner's job. And so, and stay with it for years and years. Like maybe just like, I don't want to be with one project for 2.5 years. I mean, you look at It's Me, Billy, right? We've been apart. Now, again, it's a little different, okay? They're short films, they're crowdfunded, they're in it, but the principle is still the same. The principle is still the same. Bruce and I have been on this project for nearly 5 years. No, it's been over 5 years. I made the announcement we were going to do this in the summer of 2019. It's on my channel. You can go see it. We've been on this project. We stay with it because we're the directors, we're the writers, we're the producers. We're seeing it from inception to completion. But somebody like Victoria, right? She comes on, in sort of the pre-production phase and then the production phase, and then she's gone. Now I am seeing her next week actually, because we're doing some ADR, but she's not like, she does her thing and then she's gone and she's done and she just waits for the movie to come out, right? You know what I'm saying? And maybe Frank Darabont in television, that can be, now unless the director is directing every episode, okay, but the Duffer Brothers, who are essentially the showrunners, they're there all the time. He is. Tyler Adams says he is. He's in the reel. Thank you. Thank you for checking that out. Awesome. So that's really cool. So Frank Darabont is likely, unless he's just on as a producer, which I don't think he is. I mean, come on, he's probably directing it, well, at least an episode, maybe even a few episodes. That's really fucking cool. That's really cool. But maybe he just likes it. Maybe he's just like, nah, you know what? I like directing television because I can dive in creatively, go all in creatively, give it my all like I would on a feature film, but I'm not attached to it as long as I am on a feature film. Maybe he just prefers it, because I'm telling you folks, there is no fucking way the director of the Shawshank Redemption, the director of The Green Mile, the director of The Mist, there is no way that he doesn't get calls, that he doesn't get scripts, from his agent or his representative. There's no way. There's no way. He is too talented and has made, I mean, I know, again, The Majestic by some is considered, a bit of a step down, but at the very least, he's 3 for 4. That's fucking, he's great with characters. Now, mind you, the writing, has to be great too, which he often adapts as well. But look at the characters in Shawshank. Again, you have to give credit where credit is due to Stephen King as well. I'm just saying, there's an adaptation from book to screen as well. It's rich with characters, right? The Green Mile, rich with characters. The Mist, great character work. And ironically, all three of those films, not ironically, coincidentally, I should say, those three of those films are Stephen King adaptations. But, well, that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with the episodes he's likely directing with Stranger Things. So, yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. But I would love to see him direct a feature film again, a horror movie or anything. I just want to see him out there again. But I think it's because he just doesn't. It's not because he's not getting offers. Oh, nobody sends me offers to direct feature films, so I guess I'll just have to direct television. That is not what has happened. I guarantee you that's not what's happened. This is a choice by him. Just probably because he likes the working environment better. Michael King says, going head to head with Terrifier 3, Dave, should be a fun day. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, like I said, we're not moving and again, we're not a theatrical release, obviously, but, and we're not moving our date though, because it's the 50th anniversary of Black Christmas that day. So, we have to keep that day. But like I said on the other show, hey, we understand it's going to be all Terrifier all day, all weekend. We totally get it. But there's no reason why you can't watch our movie either, because our movie you can watch from the comfort of your own home, and it's free. So there's no reason why you can't watch ours as well. Make it a Terrifier, and they're both Christmas themed movies. So make it a horror Christmas themed weekend. Why not? Jay Edwards says, Dave, when was the last time you were drunk and what happened? Let's cut the crap here. I'm not a big drinker, so I've had a buzz. I've had buzzes, but I've never been, like, even in college and things like that. I'm not a drinker, so I don't have anything against it. Like, I will go out with the guys for a drink or something like that, or, like, you know, a special occasion. But I mean, like, partying, you know, I've never been completely inebriated or bombed or throwing up, barfing and all that kind of stuff. Never. I like to be sort of sound in mind. And certainly back when I was in high school and college, you know, I was an athlete. I played hockey. I ran. I was in great shape, worked out. So that was part of my regiment, always, you know, remain in shape and remain focused. But I've certainly had buzz. Yeah, for sure. You know, you have a couple of drinks, you're feeling good, you know, you're having a good time. Yeah, for sure. But I've never been like, that's never happened. Andrew Stevens sends in a member chat. Thank you. Did I say Amber? I meant Andrew if I said Amber. Andrew Stevens sends in a member chat. Thanks, buddy. Says one of our great moderators. Imagining Frank Darabont giving us a similar The Mist style episodes and maybe a twist, cliffhanger, or an ending. Yeah, dude, like, I'm very excited to see his episodes. Now, again, the writing has to be there as well. I don't know what episodes he's going to direct, but I'm hearing crazy shit. Like, some episodes, like, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I'm hearing through the grapevine, not from, like, sources. I just mean, like, online. I'm hearing people say, like, apparently, like, some of the episodes, like, you know how in season 4, like, the last episode was like an hour and a half long or something, was like a movie. I'm hearing like some episodes within season 5, like in the middle, are like 2 hours long, or like there's like a couple of feature films like within this last. I'm just like, what? Maybe he's directing that. Maybe he's directing an episode that is 90 minutes long. So for all intents and purposes, he has directed another feature film. I don't know, but no, I'm looking forward to it. I like Frank Darabont. I've liked everything he's directed, even The Majestic, even though I haven't seen it in years and years. I did like it. I thought it was, you know, again, not the same kind of passion I have for it as I do the others, but I mean, yeah, like, how does the director of The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist, how is he not directing? Like, he has not directed a feature film in nearly 20 years. But again, that he's still working. He's working a lot. He directed a boatload of episodes of, you know, The Walking Dead. Of course, he's doing Stranger Things. He's done a ton of other shit as well. He's still working. I just would love to see him direct a feature film again. Brandon Collins sends in $5. Thank you, Brandon. Says, the movie landscape has changed so much. Hollywood doesn't really make Darabont-style films now. It's either big budget spectacles or indie movies. Yeah, that's true. But I'll push back a little bit and say, I think he could make an indie film. I think, I get what you're saying, but I think I think Frank Darabont could absolutely direct an indie style, like a movie like, Summer of '84, or, a Stranger Things kind of film, The Mist kind of, like there's a claustrophobic indie sort of kind of vibe. Even though it had the big effects, there was a bit of an indie vibe to The Mist even. When you think about it, right? Sort of small town, claustrophobic. I'd love to see him return and do something like that. I'd love it. I'd love it. But to your point, there's a number of reasons why he's not. It's not because he's not getting offers. It could be, to your point, maybe it's because he's just like, I don't want to do this shit, and I'm just going to stick to TV. And TV allows him to get in, work passionately for, maybe a month or so, get paid, and then fuck off. He's not there for a couple of years. Like, as much as the It's Me Billy journey has been awesome, and it's been awesome to share that with all of you, and and it's been a learning experience, and I absolutely believe that I am a better filmmaker today than I was before I made those two movies, obviously. And I've learned a lot and made so many more wonderful connections, and to deliver two movies in the way that we're about to, or we did one, now we're about to do the other one, is just awesome. But I would be lying to you if I said I am so looking forward to moving on. in the sense of that I've spent 5 years of my life working on these two projects, not just these two projects, obviously. I'm doing all the voiceover work and all the television shows I'm on there. But I just mean in terms of my filmmaking, I'm so ready to begin the process of moving on to other ideas and projects and films that I am really passionate about. And just continue to move forward and continue to elevate and move on to original IP that we can finally seek distribution for, and maybe, who knows, get it on Prime or Netflix, who knows, right? Really start to work in that and move in that direction now. And because as much as I am proud of the work we've done, I'm ready to move on. Because it's been 5 years of my life, but I don't regret it. It was the right thing to do to build up our portfolio, to gain the experience, to work at that level on a professional level. And I am so proud of the work that we've done. And now I'm ready to move on to original, work now, right? That we can get really excited about and actually seek distribution for. So, but when you are the writer, when you are the director, when you are the producer, you do stay with the project from inception to completion. Actors don't do that. Crew doesn't do that. You know what I mean? They come on sort of in the middle months and then they're gone. The crew that shot It's Me, Billy 2, the crew that we worked with, have already shot so many other projects. You know what I mean? It's just a stop along the way. But when you're the creator, when you're the producer and the writer and the producer and the director, for sure, you're there from inception to completion. And so, it can be exhausting. It's a lot of hard work. All right, Josh McKenna sends a $9.99. Thank you, Josh. It says, speaking of showrunners and directors, I saw Will Smith was listed as an executive producer on Cobra Kai. Does it mean anything like he is involved in every single episode? Does he have influence? Will Smith, is it that Will Smith or is it another Will Smith? I'm not sure. It could be another Will Smith. If it is that Will Smith, which would be strange, he's probably just, it might have something to do with his, whether he has a production company who is maybe co-producing the series. I don't know, though. It's a Netflix series. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it. If it is that Will Smith, then I would believe that it is just, I don't know. It's just a name. He's got some sort of affiliation through one of his companies or something that has done something. He's not on set every day. He's not there. No. But it could also be a different Will Smith as well. I'm not sure. I doubt he has very little influence. And then Cody the Zombie, one of our members, member for 8 months. Thanks, buddy. Sends in a member chat and says, have you read about the fan film called Halloween Aftermath? Professional done fan film. So far they haven't been canceled. Yeah, that's James Grimm's fan film. Yeah, no, he's been working really hard to get that done and to make it look as good as he possibly can. And I think it's great. I think it's great what he's doing. And I know he's been working really, really hard on it. So, I wish them the best of luck. And yes, so far, I guess they haven't been axed, but whenever you're making anything to do Halloween, with fan films, you have to tread lightly. They're obviously, in the world of fan films in general, there is a sliding scale of quality. Sometimes, films can look really good, but then, the audio sort of gives it away. Sometimes you can have it on. I mean, it depends on it depends on budget, your money, who you're surrounding yourself with. There are some fan films that look great, but then they don't quite look studio, but they look really good, and then there are, like, again, the reason why films like Never Hike Alone or It's Me, Billy have the studio quality is because of the money, but also because of the crew and the equipment and who we're surrounding ourselves with. And, we're working with professionals who work at that level. So, they're not our buddies down the street who were asking to hold the boom mic, right? So there's a degree of quality, and I haven't seen too much of what he's doing, but what I have seen looks great. So I don't know how much money they raised or where they're allocating it or what they're shooting on or who they're using or what they're utilizing to. And nowadays too, I mean, if you have a really, really high-end DSLR that maybe is full frame, 35 millimeter frame, if you know what to do with it and you know how to light it, and light your scenes and craft your shots, you can make it look really good. You don't have to shoot on the Arri or the Red or, whatever the case is. You don't have to do that. I mean, you can, if you know what you're doing, you can make it look really good. One of the things that a lot of up and coming amateur filmmakers, some of the mistakes they will make is they will try to color grade the look. And the look should always be captured in camera, and then the color grading is just complementing it, depending on what you're shooting on, right? If you're shooting raw, and then or log, you're going to get an image that's washed out. When I look at so when we're, for example, we shot on the Arri Mini, which is a cinematic grade camera. And they shoot Hollywood films on that, right? And so Totally Pro, our DP is a DP of 35 years experience. He's a 3-time CSC Award nominee. Our own first chapter was nominated for a CSC, which is fantastic. So it's the real deal. It's why it looks the way it does, feels the way it does. But a lot of amateurs will, because they don't know how to craft the lighting, they're not working with a professional DP necessarily, they're not working with a professional gaffer necessarily, right? So they will they don't quite know what to do. They know kind of what they want, but they will just kind of set up lights so the scene is lit. And by the way, I'm not speaking about James. I'm talking in general now. I just want to make that distinction. I'm speaking in general. You'll see a lot of people, a lot of and it's not just fan films. It's low budget indie films too, right? Depending, but certainly with fan films when it comes to Halloween, because there's such a look to it, you'll often see them set up lights and just kind of set up lights. And it's like, well, no, you got to craft the shots. You got to craft the lighting so that when you look at the monitor, the lighting, it looks like when you get to the color grading stage, we're not color grading to make it, we're not color grading the look. We're color grading, depending again on what you shoot on, the raw image may look washed out, but it didn't look that way on the monitor on set. It just looks that way on the raw image on the file because of what you're capturing it on, because you need the dynamic range in order to be able to take that to color grading to make it look back the way it looked on the monitor on set. Do you know what I mean? And that's sort of, that's kind of, again, I'm not a professional colorist, I'm not a DP, but certainly that is what's happening. Too many amateurs will not craft their lighting on set, rely on fixing it in post, and then using filters in color grading to get a color, to get a certain look. And sometimes when I watch indie films or even fan films, I'll be like, they've overdone the color grading. This looks color graded. Like how you put a filter on a picture you post on Instagram or something, right? We've all seen pictures where this looks like it has a filter on it because the contrast is just way too much, or things are blown out, or whatever, or things are too green, or whatever it is, right? And the same thing happens when you color grade a film, right? You should never go to the post and then be putting filters on it and the deepening, doing this, guys. It should just be all about getting it, you know what I mean? The color, the dynamic range should be there that you can kind of bring it back to the way the way it looked on set, and of course you polish it and you tweak it a little bit and, add a bit of icing, of course you do. But I see a lot of people, one of the biggest reasons why an indie film or a fan film will look and feel amateur is largely because the crew is not, the lighting is too flat. It's too uniform. They're not crafted, especially for a horror film. If it's a it depends on the genre. If it's a drama, that's a bit different, right? Depends on the genre. Comedies tend to be more brighter, more uniform, absolutely. But when you're doing a horror film, you want that depth, you want, deep blacks, you want corners that you know what I mean? You want to craft the lighting, and I see too many people that just set up a light on a stand and shine it onto a set. And it's like, well, sure. Okay. But that's not going to give you the mood and the feeling that you want. You need to craft it. And listen, when you're working with professionals, when you're on a professional set, when we're working with, like, say on, say Billy 2 or even 1, when we go in the morning, we have our meeting with our DP and he's brought on board. He knows what's happening. The crew is there, the gaffer, the grips, and so we're all on the same page. What will happen is it can sometimes take them, depending on the scene, it can sometimes take them an hour and a half to set up the lighting because they're crafting it, they're noodling it, they're shaping it. You know what I mean? And then we roll for like 30 seconds. Right? You're always setting up far longer than you are rolling, So if you're on a film set where they just set up 2 lights, and that's it, there's probably a bit of a problem there. Again, it depends on the set. It depends. I digress, but but it's really cool. And again, I'm not talking about, James, I'm just speaking in general. From what I've seen, from what they're doing with Halloween Aftermath, I think it's great. And, I wish them the best of luck with it. I do. And my fingers are crossed that they don't get fucking taken down if Malick does that, because Trancas tends to do, well, they just purged a few not that long ago. So, my fingers are crossed. But the world of fan films, there's a stigma, and rightly so. It runs the gamut. It runs the gamut. So that's another reason why I want to move away from the fan film territory, because you're always fighting against that stigma, no matter how professional it is. And it's Me, Billy, the 2 films, they are professional indie films. No matter how professional they are, you are always fighting against the stigma, especially when you're niche, right? You know what I mean? And you got to get people to take notice of you. So that's why it's so important that you guys share it and promote it when it comes out, because we need all the help. But yeah, always make sure for you aspiring filmmakers out there, take the time to craft your lighting. If you're making a horror film, take the time to craft the lighting. Yes, if you're shooting on something like the Airy or the Red, of course you're going to have the dynamic range. And that dynamic range just means the how much of in the darkest of darks and the brightest of brights, right? Like how it's the spectrum, it's the color spectrum, not the color spectrum, but it's the color spectrum. Am I saying that right? I don't want to say something I'm not getting right. I'm still learning this as well. But it's the dynamic range. You have such dynamic range when you shoot on cinematic grade cameras, which is why they shoot on cinematic grade cameras. But a lot of DSLRs today have really great dynamic range. And if you are shooting on a high-end DSLR, take advantage of that dynamic range and craft your lighting. Take the time to craft the image. The reason why, the Billy films look as great as they do is because we're working with professionals who take the time to craft the image and the vision that Bruce and I have. And that's why, you know what I mean? And that takes time. It does take time. And not everybody has that time, of course, when you're on set, but that's why. And they do that that's why the Hollywood films look as good as they do too. So yeah, take the time to craft your lighting. Bad lighting and bad audio will be 2 dead giveaways on a horror movie that this is, amateur. You know what I mean? All right, I'll go another 7 minutes or so, and then I got to skedaddle because I want to go for my run. It's cool out today. It's not as hot today, so I want to get a run in. Real Reveal sends in 279, says, are you excited for TIFF this year? I don't know. I got to check to see what's playing at TIFF. I'm not excited. I've just been so kind of neck deep into the Billy stuff. So I'll have to see what's coming to TIFF. Of course, they don't announce that till I think next month, but we'll see. Good to see you, Real. Good to see you, Theo. Nice to see you here. Let me see here. Have I got all the super chats? I think I did. Oh, Brandon Collins, add some context. There you go. Will Smith produced the remake and cast his son. There you go. He still has the rights, and that's why the new Karate Kid movie coming out next year as Machio and Jackie Chan. Right. That makes sense. I forgot about that. Well, there you go. So that's why. Yeah, that's why. That would be why. Evil Alex says, color grading is an art in itself. Somebody needs to recolor grade Scream 4. That film is way over shiny. Color grading is an art. And like I said, I think too many aspiring filmmakers rely on the color grading to give it a cinematic look, when the color grading is just a complementary tool. You should already be capturing the cinematic look in camera while you're on set, right? That's what you should be doing. And depending on what you're shooting on, whether you're shooting 4K or 8K or 6K or 2K or, whatever it is, and whether you're shooting raw or log. I mean, I'm not a professional DP, so I'm still learning about this myself, but, so I don't want to overstep my knowledge, but I do know enough to say that there's a lot of variables at play, but I've seen too many times people just think, as I said, they can just set up a light and, no, craft the image, craft it. So when you get it to post, you're color grading to bring the information that's there out. You can't put information into an image that doesn't exist. It's like in photographs, right? The information already has to be there. And that is why the dynamic range of cameras like the Arri, and, the Red and all that, that's why they shoot on those films, is because of the dynamic range. That's one of the reasons, obviously. But if you have a DSLR that's got really good dynamic range, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're not if you yourself don't know, or you're hiring somebody that doesn't know how to fully utilize that dynamic range and the many different lenses that you can utilize, right? I mean, don't shoot on a 50 mil the whole movie. You know what I mean? Change it up. Shoot on a couple of wide angle lenses for, establishing shots. Don't shoot on your 50 mil for shoot on like a fucking, I don't know, like a 12 or a 20 or something. Well, 12 might be too wide, but you know what I mean? Shoot on understand lenses too, and the different lenses and what the numbers mean. And because we as directors have to know that, and I learned a lot more about that on Billy 2 as well, so you can have informed conversations with your DP as well. So when your DP says, to you, well, what about a 50 or, a 70, you want to do a 50? Well, we could do a 75 with it. What he's talking about, and what that's going to look like. There's apps today as well. Our DP on set, I forget the name of the app, but he had an app on his phone that shows you can punch in the camera that you're using and shows you the different lenses, and he can line up his phone and show us on his phone what it's going to look like while our camera team is setting up the camera, so we don't have to bother them while they're setting up the camera, right? Because, it takes a while. So he can show on his phone, he can show us, and we're looking, you know what? That's fantastic, Greg. Really like that. Why don't we shoot that on a 50? Yeah. And he can show us that in real time it's great. It's great. I forget the name of the app. Maybe somebody here knows the name. I forget it. I should download it actually. I think you do have to pay for it. But little tools like that can really help you. Now, I don't know how many cameras are on there. Maybe they have DSLRs. I don't know. But little things like that is just, if you take anything away from this long thing on this, just please, it's learn the craft of filmmaking. It's a craft, so when you're out there, it's going to take time. Sometimes it might take a whole day to, not a whole day, but maybe a whole morning to shoot one scene, but it's worth it. It's worth it, because when you get it into post and you get it into the editing room, you're not then crafting the shot there by throwing filters on to make it look cinematic. No, the information's already there. You just need to color grade accordingly to make it pop. You know what I mean? Depending on what what you're shooting on, raw or log or, whatever. Anyway. All right. 2 more minutes. Have I got all the super chats? And the member chats? I believe I have. Yes, it looks like I have. Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure. I have. I don't want to miss anything, folks. I don't want to miss anything. And again, I'm not a professional DP. So if any professional DPs watch this and say, oh, he's right, but it's actually this, please chime in and let me know, because I'm still learning that craft as well, because I have to learn. Like at a professional, I can go out and shoot something, of course. I know, but I mean, working with cinematic grade cameras and understanding the dynamic range of these cameras and understanding all the logistics and the technicalities that go into shooting at that level. I know way more now than I did 3 or 4 years ago. But you're always learning. You're still learning. Even Greg has said he's been a DP for 35 years. He's still learning because technology is always evolving and new cameras are coming out and new lenses are coming out and new technology is coming out. And so we're always learning and getting better as filmmakers. And that's what it's really all about. But yeah, don't just set up a light and shoot and then try to figure out how to make it look cinematic in post. That's not what Hollywood does. That's not how movies are made. That's not what we've done on the Billy films. And that's not what you should do either. All right, folks, listen. We've hit an hour and a half. That's pretty good. That's going to do it for me here on this episode of McRae Live. I want to thank, of course, my moderators. Thank you for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it. Thank you, of course, to the super chats that came in today and the member chats as well, and some of those non-super chat and non-member chat questions as well. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me here today on episode 271 of McRae Live. Hey, listen, if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on anything I had to talk about here today, but especially the Halloween portal. What are your thoughts on this portal? Jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Do you like the design? Do you not like the design? Do you think it looks a little dated like I do? Or do you think I'm crazy? Dave, you're crazy. This is amazing. Jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts when you can. That is going to do it for me. A reminder to my level number 2 members, this Saturday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our next episode of Halloween, of Horror Movie Nights. We're watching the original A Nightmare on Elm Street this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to celebrate the 40th anniversary of that movie. It was released, of course, it was released in November, but I mean, it was released this year. So we're watching that, the original Elm Street, 1984, Freddy Krueger. Watch Freddy with Freddy. Hey, I got Freddy on today. This Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusive to my level number 2 members. The join button is there if you want to get in on the action. All right, folks, have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will talk to you all very soon. In the meantime and in between time, cheers.